Hey, beautiful souls, welcome back, or welcome to The Hawk and I. My name is Lana Zelinsky. I'm a psychic medium and a spiritual teacher, and I'm talking a little bit today about a topic that's been coming up an awful lot in my mentoring groups, in my one-on-one spiritual guidance groups, as well as it's creeped into some of my mediumship sessions. So because it's been a theme lately, I thought I would do a video on it, and perhaps this will help some of you kind of lean into what Spirit calls soften that. We are so quick to judge ourselves, and we're so quick to judge other people sometimes, or situations. And what Spirit's been saying a lot to people is, can you soften that thought a little bit? When we soften the thought, it changed the vibration. And when we change the vibration, we change what we align to. And when we change what we align to, there's so much growth spiritually, and there's also so much compassion in that. So let me give you some examples. Now these are just examples. It's not necessarily how I think about myself, but these are just some examples of softening. Okay, let's say I'm taking a journey of improving my wellness, which I have been for a very long time. I've been on a journey of wellness. And in the beginning of my journey, and this part's actually true, in the beginning of my journey to better physical wellness, I was really focused on the number on the scale. Really focused on it. And I based my thoughts of myself geared onto that number. If it didn't fluctuate, or if it fluctuated down or fluctuated up, it kind of set my alignment to where I was vibrationally. And, you know, at one point, one of my guides said to me, soften your thoughts on what you're thinking. Soften it. So did you do your best today? Yeah, I did my best today, but I may have had a cookie, or I may have had something that, you know, wasn't in the plan. And Spirit said, yeah, you're right. You didn't stick to the plan. But did you get up and do your best? Was the rest of your day with wellness? Did you do your best? Was there good in there as well? Were there good choices as well as perhaps you slept? Rather than focusing on, well, today was a gong show and I slept and I'm really hard on myself for that and what a wasted day, I'm going to soften it to, you know what? There was a part of the day that I did really well. And you know what? I did go for a walk, and I did have that salad. Softening it, because what happens is when we soften it, we're giving ourselves some self-compassion and a little bit of self-love. And you know, yeah, some days we don't make the greatest choices, but when you soften that choices with, I'm going to try again. I did my best, and yes, I tripped. Some days I trip and some days I don't. When we soften the thought, we line ourselves up to a different vibration. And, you know, and it's just so important that when we look at ourselves, we look at ourselves with that softened vibration, that loving vibration, because essentially that's how Spirit sees us. You think your spirit guides go, oh, Lana, you ate that cookie, shame on you. No, they don't see me like that. They see me as, Lana, you've set some goals and you are working hard to achieve them. Stick with trying to achieve them. Stick with aligning to that. You know, when we're trying to overcome something, you know, our spirit guides don't say, oh, shame on you, you tripped and fell, no more chances for you. No, they don't see it that way. You know, our spirit guides will say, pick yourself up and we'll help you dust off. And, you know, this very moment is where you can start again from. You can start again right from the present moment. Whether it be if you're, you know, perhaps you're trying to quit smoking or cut back on something, whatever it is, you can start again in the very next moment when you trip. You don't have to look at yourself in such a negative vibration. We carry a lot of shame sometimes when we struggle. And that's not how Spirit or source energy or your spirit guides or your deceased loved ones, that's not how they see you. They see you picking yourself up, and they see us dusting ourselves off, and they feel us trying again. And we need to kind of lean into that, because I think if we soften, the more I soften myself and soften my thoughts on how I feel, the better I feel about it. And the better I feel about it, then it increases my chances, if you will, at being successful and staying in that alignment on how I want to be and how I want to think and how I want to feel. A lot of us give up on ourselves with way too soon. Number one, you should never give up on yourself, but we give up. It's like, oh, well, I wrecked Monday, so that means Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday are written off too, because I didn't stay in alignment on Monday. Oh, you can get back into it. You can get back into it every single time, giving yourself a little bit of grace and giving yourself a little bit of compassion and softening the thought. Yeah, that happened to me today, but you know what? I'm trying again, and I did my best. Sometimes we do our best and make decisions based on the information that we have at hand. And sometimes, yeah, things change. And sometimes there's some huge lessons in what's in front of us. But softening it with, oh, I learned that lesson, and yeah, it stung a little bit, but I've learned and I grew from that sting. Sometimes learning a lesson bites us in the butt like a bee sting, and we get so hard and caught up in the sting that we forget to soften it a little bit with, yeah, that I learned, or perhaps my thoughts weren't where they needed to be, or sometimes it's very much needed to say, I was wrong. I learned, and giving that a bit of a massage. You feel the difference in that when you just kind of massage it a little bit. The same thing goes for other people. I can't stress the importance of staying out of their alignment. Bless their hearts. They're doing their best with what they have, and I kind of soften that. We just jump to judgments, and we just jump to a different vibration when it comes to other people. If it's not what we agree with, or if it's something that we wouldn't choose, yeah, you wouldn't choose it, but their learning is how I kind of look at it. If somebody kind of isn't in alignment with themselves, and it kind of affects me, it's only affecting me if I allow it. If I kind of look at it and say, I'm going to step back, and I'm just going to send you that love, and I hope you find your way, and not get into it and soften it with, they're doing their best on their journey, and they're tripping too. We're all walking and tripping, and sometimes we go straight, and sometimes we veer left. Every single one of us is on a journey, and it's sometimes it's about just softening the thoughts, just softening it. Try catching yourself. It takes a little bit of practice to soften. It truly does. It takes a little bit of practice. But when you start to really grab into softening, especially when it comes to yourselves, if you can just soften it, just interrupt. How do you do that? Interrupt the thought with, yeah, that didn't go very well, but I tried my best. See the difference? See how that feels? I don't like this about myself, but I'm working on changing it. And yes, sometimes there's a lot of work, and sometimes it's easy, and and sometimes we struggle, but I'm showing up. I'm showing up. It feels so much different. It feels so much different. I do hope that this video on softening has resonated with you, or some of it. You know what I always say, pick up what resonates and leave the rest right here. But I do hope that you can just give it an attempt to sit with softening yourself, and lean into that more when you kind of struggle with being hard on yourself. How does Source Energy see you? I am wishing you, as always, so much love, light, blessings, and as always, a spirit-guided day.